In today's video tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to do embroidery on fabric using yarn. And the neat thing about this is you can make Christmas ornaments by using smaller hoops that are about 3 inches, and you can personalize them or do whatever you want. But I thought this was really neat that you could use regular yarn on flannel and have little Christmas gifts to give out to your friends and family. So let's get started, and make sure you have some worsted weight yarn. I'm going to use Big Twist, this nice sparkly kind that I got from Joann's. I also have my embroidery scissors, and you're going to need a embroidery needle and a hoop, and that's basically it. Oh, and a Sharpie marker, because you got to draw your design on your flannel. So go ahead and get all your tools together, and I'll meet you right back here and we'll get started. Okay, I have got my hoop ready, and I've got my piece of flannel. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the inside of our hoop right here, and we're going to place our flannel on top of it and kind of center it the best way you can to make sure that there's enough material on all sides. And then you're going to take the top of your hoop and you're going to put it over that, just like that. And then you're going to start tightening it. And then when it gets a little too tight, what I like to do is, because I didn't push the hoop all the way down yet, I just like to get it a little bit tight, and then I'll push it down even more to make it more tight, because you want to try to have the fabric as tight as you can. And I'm tightening and tightening. Okay, so what I like to do in order to make those pretty little roses is all you need to do is make a 5-point star, and it's easy. You can make them as large as you want. I'm going to make these a little smaller than what I had on my first one that I had shown you in the beginning. So you make a line like this, kind of like a V, and then you put a little line there in the middle, and then you're going to make this go out like this, and then like that. And then we got our 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also do a 7-point. As long as it's an odd number of points, that's fine. And sometimes I like to make a circle around, but you don't have to. It kind of just keeps me in the boundary, but I'm not going to do it on this one. And if you want to make some leaves with it, you can do that. And you can just make a leaf by just going like this, making a line down the center. And I'm going to go ahead and cap off my Sharpie, and I'm going to cut off a long piece of yarn, and then I'm going to cut it, and then we're going to thread our needle. And I'm going to put a little knot here on the end. Cut off that excess thread. And then you're going to pick up your hoop. You're going to go through the middle, right here, the middle of the little star that you did. Bring up all of that yarn. Kind of do it a little slow because you don't want it to knot up on you. That's one of the biggest issues with embroidery, is your thread and your yarn knotting up. And you don't want that to happen. And then you're going to go to the top of your point. I'm going to put that through. Then you're going to come from the back to the other point. Bring that through slowly. Make sure it's not knotted in the back. Then you're going to go back through the middle. And you're gonna, oops, got one on my hair. My hair is so long, it gets into everything. And then you're gonna go through the back again. You're gonna come up through this point. I'm gonna pull up your needle. Now this piece of hair is taking me off. There, I think I got it. And I usually do knitting and crochet a lot, but with all of this quarantining and everything now, I really saw a whole bunch of beautiful needlework things that I've seen on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, I really want to get into that because it's so relaxing. And okay, now you're going to go back through the middle. But I really enjoy doing embroidery now, so I thought I'd include that. Oops, I see some more hair. Please, I'm sorry. Okay, hopefully it's gone now. Then you're going to go back up through the back through the next point. You're going to do that. You're going to go through the middle. You might hear my stomach growling. I don't know what it is, but every time I start to do a tutorial, my stomach growls, and I have no idea why. It's annoying. Okay, now you're going to go back through the last point right here. Bring that on through. Then you're going to go back through the middle. And then we've got all 5 points. And it doesn't have to be perfect. All, you know, the lengths and everything doesn't have to be perfect. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through the back, and I'm going to go as close to the middle as I can in between these two right here. And I'm going to bring that yarn up. And then this is where the fun starts. Let me put my yarn up here on the counter. Okay, now we're gonna weave. You're gonna go over this one and under this one, like so. You're gonna pull your yarn through. I probably cut a little bit too much, but I'd rather have more than not enough, so you can always cut it. And then we're gonna go over this one and under this one. And then you're going to go over this one and under this one. And you're going to complete that until you're satisfied with the size of the rows that you want. So over, under. Feels like a broken nail. Felt it snag. And you can keep going. And try to keep it like, try not to like overlap it on the top like that or anything. Try to keep it even all the way around. So we're going to go over and under. Whoops. My yarn came out of my needle. Okay. Push that through. And I'll also show you how to make the cute little French knots too when we're done with the flower and the leaf. Then you're going to go over that and under this one. Don't pull too tight because you don't want it to go like this. You want to keep it, you know, a little bit spaced. Over, under. There goes my stomach. Over, under. Look at that nice knot. Isn't it just beautiful? Okay, now I'm going to go over and under. And you're just going to keep continuing doing this all the way around until you're satisfied with the diameter of your rose, and kind of make it go out a little wider than what your little stems are, because you don't want to see those little stems sticking out. So keep on doing this, and then I'll meet you back when I am satisfied with the diameter and the fullness of my rose. Okay, I am satisfied with my rose, and you can also fluff up your rose if you'd like. Just put your needle through and do stuff like this, and you can fluff it up a bit, make it pretty. Oh, how pretty. Just do that, and then when you're done with your rose, let me cut off, well, I'll cut it off later. To finish it off, I usually go underneath the rose and try to find the middle and poke my needle through, and then I'll just bring it down like so, and then I'll turn it over, and I'm gonna cut some of this because it's just obnoxiously long. And then re-thread this. And then I kind of just weave it through, weave the tail through to secure it. You can loop it if you want. Secure. And just weave it through as much as you want. And make sure it's not going anywhere. And then I'll clip. And then we will start with a French knot. So get a different color yarn, and we'll start with the French knot. I'm probably going to do white in the center of this. So go ahead and get your other color, and we'll start with the French knot. I've got my white yarn. I'm going to put a little knot. You don't have to have such a long piece for this one because it's just a French knot. So it doesn't have to be that long. I'm going to tie a knot on the end. Then I'm going to clip it. And thread my needle. Okay, so to do the French knot, you're going to come up through the middle of your rose. Whoops, I want to go a little bit more inside. There. You're going to come up, you're going to pull your yarn all the way through. You're going to hold it in your left hand. You're going to wrap it around about 2 or 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to go back through, but not exactly through the same hole you came through, just kind of right next to it. You can't really see it that well, but you can kind of feel for it. I'm going to poke it through. And I'm going to still hold on to this piece because you don't want it to unravel around the needle. And you're going to pull this through. And you're just going to let it go. And there's your little French knot. And you're going to weave this to secure it. And then we're going to get started on the leaf. So get your other color yarn. I'm going to use green for my leaf, of course, but it doesn't have to be green because this is your project and it can be whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to get me my green yarn. I'm going to try to pull off quite a bit. I'm going to tie my knot on the end. Cut off that piece, then thread my needle. And then we're going to get started on the leaf. So you're going to come up behind, go to the top of the point. It's right there. Then you're going to pull through. And you're going to come about maybe right there. Pop it through. Then you're going to come up right next to that hole that's right there, right next to it. Pop it up. You're going to go right underneath that hole, right there. Not in the same hole, but kind of punch it right next to it. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go up next to that hole. Punch a hole through. Right underneath there. I'm gonna go right over here again. You notice I'm not going like right on the line here because I don't want any of that visible, so I'm kind of just staying a little bit above it. I'm just using it as a little guide. Because you don't want any of that mark to show through. Sorry if I get out of focus on some parts. But you're going to keep doing that. I'm going to go from right to left, all the way down. Looks like I'm probably going to thread my needle again. It looks like it's going to come off. A little bit of a knot. Looks like it didn't go through all the way. Oh well, what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna cut that right there and I'll tie it up. But anyway, sometimes that happens if you pull your yarn too fast. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the same hole on this one because I want to kind of even up the sides. the fabric right there. Let me cut that. And you're just going to follow the, your little diagram of the leaf. And I think this looks good right here. I can't see any more of my Sharpie, so I'm going to just probably stop right, well, I see a little bit more right there. I'll try a little bit more. I think one more strand on each side might work. I know, I'm clumsy. That's me. One more over here. Get in there. I probably went too close to that one, but it's okay. Alrighty, so I think that's, let me even it up on this side. I know I keep saying this is enough, this is enough. I'm gonna go through the same hole right here just to make it even. And then I've got my leaf. Isn't it cute? And I'm gonna turn it over. And since I cut this piece right here, oh gosh. And you don't wanna do this where you accidentally sew it into the back. But you can easily cut that off. I told you I'm clumsy. Oopsie. And then you can just weave your tail through here. And I am going to just go ahead and knot this off right here. Okay, nobody's perfect. Fail. Okay, I'm just gonna clip this. And so that's our little rose in our leaf. And you can do little French knots all the way around. Just make sure that when you do a French knot that, you just start from punching through the back. And you can just put little French knots all around it and make it real cute. Do as many roses and leaves as you want, but if you want to do a French knot, just hold it in this hand, 1, 2, 3. Go next to the hole, not in the same hole. Still hold on to this left side and then let it go through. And if you want to do another one, then you come over to another part, pull it up. 1, 2, 3. Go through. And there you go. And then you just, find a spot where you can weave in your ends and it'll be all done. I'll show you how you can close up your hoop to make it pretty. What I usually do is I will split some yarn by taking maybe a strand or two and splitting it Sometimes it'll work. But since I'm on camera, it won't, because that's how everything goes for me. Nothing goes right for Miss Janie. But anyway, split you some yarn. Try to split a long piece if you can. I'm going to try to split as much as I can. Oh, that's probably big enough. And thread it on your needle. So thread it on your needle and then meet me back here and I'll show you how we close up the back. Okay, I've got my needle threaded. Some people will like to cut all the way around, just leaving a little bit, probably about a 1/4 inch of fabric, and they like to just tack it under right here with some hot glue or something. But I'm gonna try something different this time. I'm gonna go through the top, and then I'm gonna weave my needle all the way down, in and out. Make sure you got a knot in on the end of your yarn here. And I'm going to pull that like that. And I'm going to weave some more. And just weave in and out all the way around your hoop towards the edge of your fabric. And we're going to draw it up like a drawstring. It'll look really cool. So go ahead and do this all the way around and I'll meet you back once I'm done. Okay, now that I've cinched it up, I'm going to take my leftover thread, and you can, if you want, kind of go through and you can close it up a little bit more, but probably doesn't really need to be. You just have it like a little ruched or rushed piece, and then you can kind of go through on the other side and then secure it, and then you can put like a little bow on the back or whatever, however you want to beautify your little ornament. Because if you want to hang this on the wall, you might want to just do where you tack it in the back to secure it, if you want to do that. And then you can take some felt and cut the diameter of that, and then you can hot glue the felt on the back to hide the inside stitches. But if I'm going to hang it on the tree as an ornament, I usually just do it like this, and it's going to be hanging this way anyway, so people only be able to see this side. But that's how you do it. So please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing some more videos. My next video, I'm hoping to do one like this, a floating type flower. And for this, you'll need some tulle, and I'll show you how to do that in my upcoming video. But anyway, subscribe. You can watch my knitting and crochet and my embroidery videos. Thank you.